Welcome back to another quarantine coaching conversations. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. I am happy to be joined by none other than my brother, Shimeon Clemens, who's doing something with his camera right now. What's up, Russ? How you doing?
I'm all right, bro. What's going on?
We just, how it is. We're trying to get through this craziness. For those of you who don't know, my brother is a City of Tampa fireman by occupation, but he has been a youth sports coach for almost as long as I can remember. Definitely for his entire adulthood. He started off working in Parks and Recreation, and was a coach, and he's coached everything from soccer to volleyball to basketball, and especially football. And he's seen countless amounts of young men and women go on to college and pursue their dreams. He's seen some of his kids end up in the professional ranks, and I'm happy to have him here with me today just to talk about youth sports in general, youth sports in the Tampa Bay area, and some other things that we're going to get in. So, Coach Shim, just tell the people a little bit about yourself and why you thought it was important to go into, coaching youth sports at such an early age.
Well, I'm Coach Shimmy. I've been coaching for over 25 years. I thought it was important to go into youth sports coaching because it saved kids' lives. It saved my life. A coach took me under his wing and showed me the ropes, and I thought it was important for me to come back and do the same thing for these kids.
That's what's up. And I think that anybody in the Tampa Bay area who's been around Tampa sports knows Coach Shimmy. I've run into so many people over the years who are like, oh man, your brother used to coach me back when I was, or your brother coached me here, your brother coached me there. How does it feel like now? Because you've been in the game long enough to see a lot of kids grow up and be adults. How gratifying is it to be able to see these adults living their lives, good young men, good women, who still recognize you and revere the things that you were able to teach them back in the day?
Oh, it's the most gratifying when you have someone who comes back and does what you did for them. That's the most gratifying thing. When they come back and they do what you're doing, they do also. It shows that you touched someone.
Obviously the ultimate reward is paying it forward. Giving that to, you gave the knowledge to them, now they giving the knowledge to somebody else. And hopefully, especially in communities like we grew up, hopefully that cycle of people looking up to the dope boy in the hood, or looking up to the dude who thinks he's a gangster in the hood, and they starting to look up to the coaches, because the coaches, they got that kind of swagger that the dope boy has, but they don't got to worry about going to jail.
Exactly. It's one of the main reasons why I coach, because I want our kids to see that it's something other than the dope boy they look up to in the neighborhood. That's why I stay in our neighborhoods, so they can see me as a fireman instead of the average corner hustler.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Obviously, but that was part of my mission, and why I always wanted to be, a head coach and a teacher. Is like when you see somebody who lives in a neighborhood where you grew up, or is always around an area where you are, and then you find out, oh man, this dude's educated, this dude's intelligent, he coaches, but he still got, he still has touch with everything. He hasn't forgotten about where he came from. It really does make a difference when you're trying to make those connections. That's why I've always sought out more of city places to work as opposed to the rural areas because I felt like I had more of a connection with the city. Is that the same thing for you? You just feel more of a connection?
Exactly. And you know, kids know when you real. They can tell when you real.
Yeah, and they know when you were lame. They know when you ain't about that real life.
They can tell. I like to be around people that I can relate to. I can relate to these kids. They relate to me. That's why I stay in the areas that's needed the most.
That's what's up. And so let's get into youth sports in general. We know what youth sports is, and then we know what in our minds what youth sports should be. So tell me what you believe youth sports should be for young men and for young women who are participating in it.
Youth sports should be a place where kids can make bonds and be mentored to be better young adults. But it also can be used as a tool for some kids to be pushed to perform at the next level. But somewhere we got lost.
So explain like where do we get lost at? Like how is it different than what it should be?
It got lost somewhere when the first college coach came to a youth program and talked to a youth kid. That's when it got lost. Because now, instead of using a youth program as a tool to mentor kids and get kids to be prepared for high school, these parents think that is a stepping stone to get their kids into college.
Understand. So now instead of being a place where we just try to develop young men and women or look kids, girls and boys to grow up and be more responsible when they get to high school, when they get to middle school. Now it's become a situation where like parents are expecting their kids to get legitimate national shine off of what they're doing in high school.
They throw this word around called exposure, which to this day I don't understand or know what they're talking about, but everybody's talking about exposure now.
So like, and that's a good point because a lot of what we see today is rankings and announcements about where kids are playing. If you look through a lot of social media in your groups, the stuff that gets the most looks, the stuff that gets the most views are the stuff where we're comparing, a 6-year-old to another 6-year-old or a 10-year-old to other 10-year-olds. And then everybody gets to debate who's the best, even though they haven't actually really seen everybody. And they don't really know what that kid's going to be. I know that we talk about it all the time. A lot of times in youth sports, kids play positions that they're never going to play when they get to high school, and that they have no chance of playing in college because they're just not that elite 1% at that position. But because everybody is trying to get their shine, that's, those are the places they steer their kids to. It's almost as if nobody wants their kid to be an offensive lineman because they feel a negative connotation to offensive line, or because offensive line can't get a lot of shine. they're all, and it's kind of trickled up in the way to the high school ranks where we get a lot of big kids who don't want to play on the offensive line. They want to be D linemen because they feel like that's more shine. It's more shine on the D line than there is on the offensive line. But when we get to the NFL, the people who have the longest careers, offensive linemen.
And make all the money.
They make all the money. You rarely see offensive linemen getting cut before their contracts up. You see them staying around a lot longer than you see most defensive ends or wide receivers or running backs. And so it's interesting that this is the world we kind of live in. So how do you think we bridge that gap? Like, how do we bridge that gap now? Because you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Like it's over. Like we're not going back to the times when people just looked at youth sports as having fun, unless you go to a really non-competitive youth sports like organization, and not just like a league. You have to go to a non-competitive league in order to find people who are just playing for the love of just playing and don't have alternate agendas. But how do we bridge that gap? How do we still give them the guidance and the tools that they need in order to be successful in middle school and in high school and beyond, but also cater to or accept the fact that these kids are looking to get exposure, and if they don't get it from you, they're going to find somebody else that's telling them they're going to get it.
Got to tell them the truth. If you're not telling them the truth, then you part of the problem. Got to tell them the truth and show them examples of kids who done it the right way and kids who done it the wrong way. And if we can't do that, then there's no need for youth sports.
And you just let the chips fall where they may at that point.
Got to.
You know, I think it's the hardest thing is to tell these people the truth. Because and I mean obviously, you know, we're Clemens. So for you and I it's not difficult. We grew up in a truth-based kind of life. But not everybody accepts the truth the same type of way. And so when we look at how we need to comport ourselves to be able to relay the message to parents, like, hey, listen, that kid that you saw get a scholarship offer and he's in 7th grade, that's not a real scholarship offer.
You can't tell these people that nowadays, because the first thing come out of their mouth is you hating.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Whenever you try to give people some wisdom, they automatically go to hating. But like the truth is the truth. So, you know, you tell them like, listen, your kid is a good running back, you know, on the 7 and under team because he's bigger and stronger than everybody else. But going forward, he ain't gonna be no running back because as he continues to move up, he's not gonna continue to be bigger and stronger than everybody. And when you need those actual legitimate running back skills to kick in, he doesn't have that. Like, how do you have those conversations without losing the kid or losing the parent who thinks that their kid's the next, you know, Jim Brown?
Sometimes you gotta let them go. If they don't understand that that's what it is, you gotta let them go. We lost a kid, great kid.
Yeah.
We told the kid he wasn't a running back. Somebody else told him he was. We told him he was the best linebacker in Little League football. We lost him.
We lost him. He went and chased the running back dream for years on end, and I don't even really know what he's doing now. Like I don't know if he's playing running back now, and if he is playing running back, he's clearly not one of the best because I haven't heard his name said. I think that says a lot of a lot of times. You look at some of these young men. Like I take a kid like Isaiah Brown. You remember Isaiah Brown?
Yeah, I remember Isaiah.
Isaiah Brown is now about he's about to enter the NFL draft, and he's hoping that he gets drafted. But when he first came, I remember when I first got him at Tampa Bay Tech, there was talk about him being a quarterback wide receiver. Quickly, we realized that wasn't going to be his ceiling, and we moved him to defensive back. He grew into his body. By his senior year, he was a dog, and he went on to FIU and been a beast, been a starter for them for 3 years. Now he has an opportunity to chase the dream because he was willing to listen to people. He was willing to listen to some sound advice. He could have been salty and was like, oh, well, if y'all don't want me to, play wide receiver or quarterback, then I can go somewhere else that's going to let me play wide receiver and quarterback. But then there's a chance that you fail and you don't get to see your dream, or at least to chase that dream. And I love the fact that young man is not only going to get a degree for free, but he's going to get an opportunity to chase that dream now.
Which that is the main goal. See, we've lost our way. Now we're thinking the NFL is the main goal, when the main goal is to get a free education.
Facts. And I think if we get back to, we can't do a lot, but one thing we can do at the youth level is get back to promoting the next level instead of trying to promote 2 and 3 levels above. So instead of parents focusing on their kids and whether or not they're going to go to college, they need to start focusing on their kids being able to transition into high school and be a starter immediately. Like that should be your goal. How can I get my kid ready to be able to step foot into high school and be a contributor right now? And if you do that, then you set yourself up to achieve that college goal, because we know now, like if you're a junior rising into a senior and you don't have offers, it's going to be hard to get an offer because those colleges are done with those classes already. So now they're looking sophomore, freshman. So if you're able to jump on the board early where they get a chance to see you against legitimate competition, not in middle school or in youth league playing against little kids, but they get to see you at 15 years old playing against 18-year-olds and in some cases 19-year-olds. That's going to be better for you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where our focus should be at now. So I'm gonna shift gears because I know that we take a lot of pride in where we come from, whether it's Chicago or where we've done work at, in the Tampa area for years. We know how good the talent is in Tampa, but there's this preconceived notion that Miami and the Miami area is just head and shoulders better football. And the argument that I always make is it's not that the football's better there. It's that you have more people. Like Hillsborough County has a good amount of people, but it ain't got nothing on Dade. So you're pulling from a lot more. And in Miami, they ain't showing off their terrible teams. So you don't see them ever pop up anywhere. All you see are the dominant teams that have been put together, the best from here, and put together these quote unquote super teams as compared to a lot of the times with the Hillsborough County teams where they're rocking with whatever the team is that they came with, maybe plus or minus a player here or there. So talk about that rivalry, that thought process of, Miami versus Tampa. And I know it's been going on ever since you were a kid. I remember it when I was a kid. I know you remember it going off to college. I remember going off to college and Miami dudes with, we'd have to get a little straightening when we first started off to let it know what it was. So just speak to that rivalry, speak to that thought process and what you think about it.
Two things with the Miami thing, right? The one thing that you said is absolutely true. They outnumber us 4-1. So of course you're going to have more talent because you have more people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mean the talent's better. You just got more.
Mm-hmm.
For every 2 dogs we got, you got 5.
Per capita. It's a per capita thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Then on a broader spectrum, when they talk about Miami, they claim the whole South Florida.
Yep. Facts.
They don't just say Miami. They claim the whole South Florida. When they talk football down there, they talk the whole South Florida. So they include Fort Lauderdale, Clewiston,
yep.
City County, Broward County. They include all of that. When
Palm
we talk football, we just talk about the Bay Area, Tampa. Now, if we even it out and just say Central Florida, which that's what this is, if we're in Central Florida, then the playing field's about even.
Mm-hmm.
But we never claim, we always fight with them, just Tampa against South Florida. That's not even a matchup.
Right. And crazy enough, most of the time when we say Tampa, we're not even necessarily talking about Tampa Bay. We're just talking about Tampa. We're not talking about St. Pete. We ain't talking about Clearwater. We're not talking about Bradenton or Sarasota. We're talking about Tampa. We're not even talking about Lakeland or, in some no Pasco schools, none of that. We're talking about Tampa and that Tampa area. And so I understand what you're saying because it is different when we rep and we claim what we claim versus what they claim. It's a mountain of people that are being claimed within that side. I'm gonna get you out of here on this. We know that now, like we said, 2 paces out the tube, exposure. Where are we going, or where do you think that we need to go? Where's as the youth organizations, where's the next level, for youth organizations? Where are we trying to get to now?
Well, if we don't wind back a little bit, we're going to lose youth sports totally. The parents have got to stop believing the propaganda. Now, take this. Take the coach, comes in and says he's going to offer your 11-year-old son or 12-year-old son a scholarship. That means this coach has to wait 7 years for your son to be ready to come to him. Come on, man.
When the life expectancy of a coach right now is 3 to 4 years. Exactly. Whether it's from being fired or them moving on to another job. Yeah.
Come on, man. We gotta stop believing the propaganda. If not, if we continue to believe the propaganda, then youth sports will be ruined.
So you think that there's, like, from the trajectory of where they're going now and what they're trying to, like, project onto their kids, you don't think there's no way to have, like, a healthy existence at that level? You think it has to scale back?
We have to scale back.
What do you
If
think
not,
about? No, go ahead.
if not, then what we have now will be on an even worse scale. We'll have fathers start making their own team for their kids, which is going on right now, but it'll be at a higher scale. And once you start doing that, we lost.
So two things, because I told you I was gonna get y'all, but I'm thinking about it and I want to get you on the record. Two things. One, what do you think about all of the quote unquote recruiting things that have popped up for youth sports now? All of these combines and showcases for these for youth sports. Do you think there's any value in them?
Not one bit of value.
Why?
I've never in my life heard a high school coach say, "Oh yeah, I looked at that combine tape that you had with whoever, and I like how you look in those shorts and I like how you look in those shorts and t-shirt running around out there, and I want you to come to my school." Stop it. Don't even care. They don't even care.
We
They
really
don't
don't.
care. They don't care what you ran at 7 years old. They don't care what you ran on the 40 at 8 years old. They don't care what your shuttle time was. They don't care. They don't even care how many catches you had. They don't care.
We care about what you can do right now.
That's it.
Not when you were 9 and 10 and 11 years old. We care about what you can do right now. Are you a dog right now?
But
bottom line.
That's why I don't understand what they mean by this exposure thing. Like, what are you exposing them to? What are they getting exposure to?
I completely understand what you're saying. The other thing, coaching. There's a lot of talk about the subpar nature of youth coaching. Part of it, obviously, is you're going, it happens at the high school level. You're going to have coaches who are not as equipped because you just have so many programs and you got to have enough guys to be able to, fund them programs. Years ago, I made the suggestion that if you really wanted to see the quality of coaching improve, you need to start paying these youth coaches. And I essentially got browbeaten because people's thought process was, oh, well, you do this thing for the love of the game, and this is something that you're passionate about. And all I said was, yeah, but you've committed your time and expertise to teaching these kids about the game. What's different between that and the baseball team that kid plays on, where the coach for that baseball team gets paid, or the AAU team that kid plays on for basketball and the coach gets paid? Like, what's the difference? So, like, do you think that there is a way that youth sports can start, they're not gonna make anybody rich, but maybe just start incentivizing coaches to continue to work on their craft by being able to put a little bit of money in their hand?
That's a slippery slope. You start paying coaches, then parents really gonna have something to say. You think they coaching from the fence? If you think they coaching from the fence now, they start getting paid, but it's gonna be bad.
But Bruce, they're firing volunteer coaches. Volunteer coaches are getting fired. So they already heavy on their neck. Coaches feel the pressure to win on 6 and under and 7 and under teams. They feel the pressure to win because they know they're gonna get fired if they don't win enough. So what's the difference?
That's certain programs. Like if you're in a program where your president is ready to fire you, and you coaching 6-year-olds, and you're not doing anything negligent, like the kids are learning and they're prepared to play at the next level, you're in the wrong program.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Coach, tell everybody about your affiliation, what program you're working with right now, what you got going on.
Right now with that bird game, man. I'm with the bird game. I'm with the Tampa Bay Cardinals, baby. Y'all need to come out there and holler us because we're doing big things.
Tampa Bay Cardinals, that's out in Thanona-Sassa, correct?
Thanona-Sassa.
Thanona-Sassa, that's out near Temple Terrace area. If you are in Tampa, make sure you go and holler at Coach Shimmy. I can tell you one thing for sure, and you can say I'm saying it because, you know, he's my brother. You can say I'm saying it because, you know, I'm close to him, whatever. If you want someone that's actually going to care about your kids, then you need to have them playing for my brother. Shimeon, I appreciate you joining me. I miss you. I know we haven't been able to see each other because of all this craziness. I'm happy that you're healthy. You out there in those trenches, making sure that people are safe. We salute you and all those first responders. You know, I know that the nurses are getting a lot of, the nurses and doctors are getting a lot of love right now. But I want to make sure that I'm sending my love out to them first responders, those people who, you know, have to be out there in the truck going to the places to pick some of these highly contagious people up to get them to the hospital, you know, to be able to be seen by these nurses and doctors. And so really respect what you do, always have. I love you, and thank you for joining us today.
Appreciate that, Bess. I want to congratulate you on getting that head coaching job and you sticking to what you believe in and getting what you want. I'm proud of you, and I love you too, bros.
That's a bet, man. I appreciate it. That's another one in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Quarantine Coaching Conversations, talking about youth football. Make sure that you follow me on all my social media at Gene Clemens. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Coach Gene Clemens. We're still trying to strive to that, you know, $1,000, that 1,000 person subscriber mark. We are inching closer, but I know that so many of you out there watch our stuff and you are not subscribed to the channel. So if you just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and follow us on the regular, you're going to get all the content that we have. I'm going to start releasing some exclusive content that's only going to go out to people who are subscribed to the channel. And so you're going to want to be subscribed to the channel if you want a chance to see that content. So make sure you do that. Until next time, be safe, be happy. Y'all take it easy. I'm Gene Clemens.